Welcome back, golfers, and today we've got Josh back with us and we're going to go into episode 2 of his journey from 20 to 15. Welcome back, mate. You okay?
Yes, you?
Good, really good. So, been a couple of weeks since we've done the first session.
Yep.
We focus more on like your pitching, in particular, a little bit of short game sort of stuff at the
Yeah.
end there, but how have you found the your practice and how have you found your strike after those that session?
Short game's great. Took it to a range, really gave me sort of the setup points that I needed to get the sort of confidence in the setup. So took it to the range, took it on course as well. Great, strike was great. Just a building confidence basically.
Yeah, fantastic. So a lot less heavy shots basically
Yes.
going on. And I guess hopefully more understanding of why you're hitting those shots when you are, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's ultimately what I can ask to start with, right? As we start to build that, then you have an idea of when you're out on the golf course, when you hit those heavy shots,
Yeah.
right, what do I need to do to correct that? And you've got something to go back to.
Definitely.
Okay. However, something interesting has happened the last couple of weeks, isn't it? So obviously your assessment, you absolutely flushed it.
Yeah.
Off the tee, everything was doing exactly how you wanted it to, and then you played a round of golf, and things didn't quite go to plan, and sort of a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about that. What's happened there in terms of just obviously you've lost feeling your ball flight and your strike and things like you were saying.
Just couldn't hit a fairway.
Okay.
Couldn't keep the ball on a fairway. Off the tee was a bit erratic, and then was just scrambling to kind of keep it in play basically. Again, chipping around the green and putting kind of saved the round.
Brilliant.
It's a short game which we worked on was great,
Yeah.
but off the tee, just couldn't keep it on the planet basically.
Okay. Now I've actually seen Josh since then, and we did do another individual session trying to obviously look at some of this stuff and get to the bottom of this. But a really interesting point has then come out of that. After that session, we got to the bottom of the root cause. We got to what was going on, what we need to fix. But then you sent me a message in the week, which was a fantastic message of saying, I feel like I'm doing the right things, but I'm still not 100% sure what to look for when the ball's doing certain things, or what it is I'm doing to make the ball do certain things, right? Which was a fantastic question, because this is the sole reason why I designed this peak performance pathway, because golfers like yourself come and have a session with coaches, go away, and then get themselves in this sort of place that they're in, that you're in at that point, but almost don't have the means to then be able to communicate that back and have any solutions, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is really go through that in detail of, right, what it is exactly that causes these shots, what exactly you're going to be looking for, right? So then when you are experiencing certain strikes or shots, you know what causes them, right? And just continue to tidy up the long game side of things, because ironically that's what seems to have caused the most problems in the last couple of weeks, right? So we've done some fantastic work with the short game, but I think this is going to be a really, really good session for yourself and actually for all the viewers as well, because it's going to highlight some points that I said I'm so passionate about, that when golfers are away, they just don't have access to be able to figure out what it is they need to do. So they get themselves in a mess, come back 3-4 weeks later, and then we're having to redo the whole thing again. So this journey is so vital in people's progression, and again, we're going to kind of show everyone that today, and hopefully give you more clarity over when you're seeing these things. Because seeing the different strikes and the ball flights aren't the problem.
Yes.
It's what you then have to do to correct them, or understanding what's going on first. All right. So this is what we're gonna run through today. All right.
Perfect.
So we've hit a few to warm up already, haven't we? So what I'm gonna get you to do now, bud, is hit some shots. Okay. I've got a target set out there, so we can hit some shots. We're gonna have a little look. We'll monitor some of the ball flights, what's going on, and we'll start to discuss and talk about those, and then we'll get into your session. All right.
Perfect.
Okay, mate. This is where you stand on camera and flush absolutely everything again.
Yeah, that was a good one to start with.
You were designed for the tour, mate.
Yeah.
For the cameras. Okay. Good. So that started relatively straight and then just overturned your target, didn't it, to the left?
Ever so slightly, yes.
Yeah, and you're saying you're kind of experiencing some of those, maybe even slightly worse?
Yeah, definitely sort of overdrawing a little bit, or just doesn't feel like to me, doesn't look like it's drawing at all. Starting straight and then kind of peeling off the left.
Straight down the button. Nice. So just for the viewers, actually, Josh wants to hit a draw, so we're looking at working on a ball flight that is more draw biased. So everything we're going to be doing here is going to be looking at making sure the golf ball is starting in the right direction and then curving in the right direction. Two of the biggest important factors in controlling direction, right? So everything needs to start slightly right of target, and everything needs to have a curve that's moving back towards target, and then we can start to understand if the ball's doing that and it's overturning or it's pushing, we've got an idea of what it is we need to move to be able to then recorrect it. So again, hopefully give Josh that clarity of when he's practicing, he's seeing these things, that right, that's what I've got to do. Or if the ball is deflecting and curving the opposite way, so curving to the right, something has shifted quite a bit. But again, knowing what that piece is to be able to correct it. So we'll see what kind of variance we get. But keep going for me, mate.
That's a bit of a thin.
Okay.
Definitely been seeing a lot of heel strikes when practicing.
Okay. So it's a bit straight and turned off target again, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit tad thin as
A
well.
little thin as well, yeah. Strike wasn't flush. I'd agree with that.
Good one.
Same again, right curve, but just starting too straight, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good start line, starting to try and come back to targets. That's really good. So that's in your acceptance range for sure. Nice.
It's the best one yet.
Okay, so question.
Yep.
In your mind, when we've got the golf ball there, so the typical pattern we're seeing here right now in terms of the miss is starting too straight and then turning left, right?
Yep.
So, or even starting fraction left and then going further left. In your mind, what causes that golf ball to do that as opposed to starting slightly to the right and then curving in back? Have you got an idea of that?
For me, that feels just like everything's lining up too late, I guess. So I'm just kind of. It doesn't feel like an in to out, but it feels like I'm starting everything left.
Correct. Okay, so when that golf ball's doing that, especially when it's curving to the left, okay, we're looking at a club face issue.
Okay.
Okay, so the club face is ultimately too straight at the target at that moment in time. Now, the swing direction or swing path has to be more in to out because the ball is curving to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a really important point for everyone there, no matter who you are, what you're doing. If you're seeing a golf ball that is starting on target and curving left, you are swinging from the inside, but you have a face that is too shut. Okay, it often deemed that that's an over the top miss.
Yeah.
Okay, often when I ask players that question, is I'm swinging over the top because it's going left.
Yeah.
If it's curving left, no. You're swinging inside, but the face is too shut because it's making the ball curve that way, okay? So it's always a really important point to know that, okay? So we are looking at a club face issue. Obviously then we're going to looking a bit deeper in a minute, some videos and stuff like that, and look at, okay, well, why is that club face wanting to get left a little early, okay? Because its relationship to the club path is pretty good, but it just still needs moving. Over there, a bit, right? Not releasing left of target, okay? So we'll start to have a look at that. But just so I wanted to bring that point up because I think it's a really important point that everyone can learn something from that. And often this is where the confusion then happens on driving ranges when you're away from coaches, right? Because you're thinking, I'm not swinging from the inside enough, and you're going to try and send it further out there, but you're going to move your swing direction more, which is then going to start to sacrifice contact and probably, if you get the face wrong, make that ball flight worse.
Okay.
Or if you've done that, you mentioned the heel strikes, might start to all of a sudden throw the heel out towards the golf ball.
Yeah, I did shank a few on the range.
Yeah, so changing the wrong thing can all of a sudden start to cause new problems. Okay, which is why I think this is crucial. All right, keep going for me, mate. We'll get some more.
Oh, like that. Good one.
That was that heel strike, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right out the hill.
Nice. Yeah, that was the one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Left going left.
Yep. So that's missed the green, and then I'm gonna have to sort of chip it back on.
So we can I'll actually show this one to the camera on the screen, just so everyone can see that. So that last golf ball has started left of our target and it's moved to the left. We have a swing direction that is pretty straight but slightly to the right, a club path that is to the right, but a face to path that's heavily shut. Okay, so the ball has started left, it's curved left, we're looking at club face issue there, and you are not swinging over the top.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Things are actually moving from the inside, club path is from the inside.
Sure.
Face is just to left.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Golf shot.
Yeah, good one. That's a better one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, did you consciously try and do anything different from that shot to the one before?
Not really.
Or the one that missed left?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a bit of a shortening of the sort of follow through, kind of a bit more Tommy Fleetwood-esque sort of follow through potentially.
So that one before was obviously really, really good. But I'm just gonna bring. I'll show you this one, and again, sort of shows the camera to this. Obviously, that looked like a really nice ball flight. Okay. However, the big thing that shifted there was the swing direction. So you actually swung further to the right there.
Yep.
Okay, to get that ball on target. Now, that worked.
Yeah.
But wouldn't necessarily be the correct fix, because if you start to swing the baseline with an iron that far to the right, you're going to start to over time sacrifice contact, and you could run the risk of bringing the heel into play, which again you said you've done, right?
Yeah,
so there's an unconscious reaction kind of going on here through your swing to almost like move the swing to the right to get the ball that way, rather than the twisting of the club face, right? So we'll start to again go through this, but it's interesting to see how you reacted really well, but to change it, but you change your swing direction rather than actually the face angle itself. Okay, so that could start to lead into those bigger push shots that you've then been seeing. Okay, so if you're swinging that far to the right and the face is then anywhere near that right hand side, you're going to leave that golf ball way right. It might not necessarily curve to the right, but it'll just stay out there.
I definitely still see a two-way miss
Correct.
on the range. I'm still seeing a left and a right. It doesn't seem to always take. I haven't taken out the right side of the range yet.
No, and if you, to be honest, if you're so if you're drawing it, the ball's going to start right. But what we don't want to do is see the ball curve right.
Yes.
So if they're pushing to the right to start with, that's okay. We just don't want to see them curve to the right.
Yeah.
And we want to then start to eliminate how many overturn the target to the left. Right. But at least if the golf ball's turning that way every single time, that's a better place to start. Like I said, what you've got at the moment is a straight to left start line that goes left, and then you can have a right start line that goes right a little bit, right, or stays right. So you have got that almost two different curves. Okay.
Oh. Always the first one.
Nice. Yeah. That was a good golf swing. That was more neutral swing.
Okay.
And you managed to face really well.
Just swinging sort of up here rather than around there, is that kind
It'd
of...
be more into the golf ball, but we'll touch on that in a minute.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, takeaway could influence it, but I don't think it directly does. It'll be more what goes on into the golf ball. But on that point, actually, it's interesting. You said the warm-up, actually, you said to get the ball to draw or start right, you had to feel like you swung everything really flat.
Around
and I kind of said, just hold that thought, because again, if we think about what you're doing there, if you're swinging everything flat, well, then you're going to be swinging way to the right, and that's where the strike and the curve can start to get quite tough if you keep doing that. You can, like I said, you hit a couple of good golf shots doing it, but I do think it's important to understand what that is that's changing, rather than I'm just going to swing more that way, because that's when the strikes start to come in. So to your point we just said there, yes, the circle would be a bit straighter, but more from kind of like hip height to hip height.
Okay.
So obviously the more you swung it around this way in the back, of course, the more that's going to start to shove it to the right.
Which I think was what
if the club was a little more out in front here directly, you could argue that that's going to then link to a straighter swing direction, which we'd want to do. I'd want you swinging it pretty straight, but moving the club path out to the right through having a slightly downward descent onto the golf ball, and then we're just managing the face. Okay. Right, a couple more, bud, and then we'll have a look at these videos and get some clarity. Good.
There we go. Right out the hosel.
That's the one that just gets too close to the hill.
Yes.
One more.
Well done.
Okay, right, mate. We'll take a couple of minutes. I'm just going to have a little look at the videos, and then we'll start to look at what it is that's going on, what we're going to then obviously change, ultimately how we're going to do that. And then give you some drills and reference points to start to be able to work on. And again, then when you're practicing, you've got some real clear idea to what's causing what.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spot on. Okay, mate. Right. Let's have a little look at a couple of things. So we actually touched on last week the posture anyway, didn't we? Right. So we were seeing a little bit too much kind of curve in your spine. But this is actually much better. It's a little more of a natural.
Yeah, feels more natural.
Good. Right. So just from movement benefits, you're going to be able to turn better, load joints better. So that's better. So no issues there really. The other things I'll start to check now would be setup in terms of, are we creating enough draw bias intent at setup? Okay. So where's the shaft lean? Where's the face pointing? Things like that. So this will now look at more of a face on. Now we can see shaft angle, pretty good. So my baseline there for a draw would be sitting somewhat up the left armpit.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's there or thereabouts. All right, so it's not too bad there on that. We'd also want the face angle tilted ever so slightly to the right, which it is, because we want the golf ball to start to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's important that the face isn't shut.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, if the shaft is back, kind of sitting back here somewhere, which you'll see a lot of golfers do actually, back there, the face angle now typically is going to be like this.
Yeah.
So you're going to see, a left swing direction, which is the shaft, and then you're going to see a left face. So you kind of start to see these pull cuts and pulls going on. So as far as a setup goes, you're doing all right there. You're pretty good. Okay, so you're in sort of draw bias. The other sort of stuff I would check would be where the joints are and stuff. You're pretty even in that box. So things I like to see in that box would basically be hips would be equal distance aside from each of that. Head's pretty neutral.
Yep.
Spine's pretty neutral. Feet are sitting underneath the shoulders. Okay. So from a setup point of view, good. Okay. Ball position will be the other thing I will check. And again, for draw, I'd want to see the ball position somewhat middle, which it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So ball position reference, I would always work off the left shoulder, so that being kind of 0. So that would be like driver, for example. Yeah. And then I mentioned earlier about kind of how you would create a outward path by hitting down on the golf ball, right? As you're hitting down onto the golf ball, which is slightly back of the centre of the arc, that's going to move the club path to the right. So we'd swing in a straight swing direction, but we're moving the path out to the right through a downward attack angle on the golf ball. So it's important that golf ball is somewhat back of the 0 line, the left shoulder line, to encourage a more downward attack, okay, especially for draw. Okay, so that's perfect. So sort of centre sternum would be your reference, which kind of then is about 2 balls back of the left shoulder. Okay, so that's always a reference you can use when you're practicing then of like, okay, is the ball 2 balls back of that centre line. Okay, so doing a good job from setup. And that's somewhere I would always start with everyone, looking at a setup position and going, okay, well, what are we building in at setup to help our ball flight, or what's wrong in the setup that is influencing that, right? So for example, we could have been looking at like a shut face address there, hence why the ball's starting too straight.
Yeah.
We're not, so we've got to look elsewhere, right? Look at what else is then now influencing that. So we're still looking at club face. So we've got to look at the things that heavily influence the club face, okay? So we're looking at, you've got all things from grip to arm structure, okay, to then obviously how these then translate and transport around the body in the swing, and where they're starting to change, okay, what's causing the face to move less. So these are the things we're going to heavily start to look at now, okay? So what I'm going to scroll you down to first is impact, okay? I'm going to show you the impact of what's going on, and we will see there, literally straight away as you hit that golf ball, how much that face is left.
Yeah, massively.
Okay, so we can see straight away from the camera, face is turned in, toed in, right? So something is going on there to make that face do that. Yeah, correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where I think this starts is actually top of backswing, okay? So I think, now you get the club a little bit on the inside here in the takeaway,
Yes.
but you have a fraction of a stronger grip, so I'd expect to see some of that.
Okay.
Okay, when the forearms are rotated inward a little bit, you're going to see a little bit more of an inward takeaway.
I've always sort of seen it coming in.
Yeah, so not looking at that directly and going, that's a huge influence right now, because I'd expect to see some of that.
Sure.
And the face isn't overly shut at this point either. It's actually, you've rolled it a little bit. So actually the face is more open, right? So we're now not looking at that and going, if that was severely shut, we might be able to look at takeaway and then go, okay, well, maybe it's starting here. But I think as you start to get to the top, what we'll kind of see is the right arm starts to narrow, right? So we start to get quite a collapsed or narrow right arm up here, okay? And I'll roll the other one through to the top as well. All right, now, basically from address where you started, as you've gone to the top, the right arm is just overbent, okay? Overbent too much. Now, as you come down, what you're going to see from golfers here is that right arm is now going to stay bent for way too long, okay? So the arms are basically too high relative to the torso in the downswing, okay? And they almost get left behind the body as a sequence, and then the throw will start to happen a little bit early, okay? And that throw happening early, the shoulder's going to move into internal rotation too early, okay? Like this, and you can almost see by me just holding the pen, it's going to start to shut the face pretty quick, right? So that is just happening a fraction early into the golf ball, and that's why the face is moving to the left. Okay, and we're going to see this now as we start to come through. So as you come down, I think at this point here, halfway down, so left arm parallel, that club head is still really high, and the arms are still really high. So this right arm is still really bent. Here, okay. As a rough rule of thumb, the arm would get to around about 80 degrees bent at the top, okay, and then would start to straighten on the way down, right? It would start to lengthen coming into impact. You've obviously gone to, I don't know, let's call it 30 degrees, right? And you've kept it there.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of straightening to do now at some point. Okay, which is going to make it difficult for contact sometimes. Now you're doing a pretty good job of contact. And the heel strike is also linked to this as well, which I'll explain. Okay, so again, this point here, that right arm is still very, very bent, club head's really high. And we're going to come down into the delivery position here, and this is where we'll really start to see it. Okay, more from face on. Now, what I'm seeing here, relative to the body, hands are quite a bit this way. Okay, so where the hands now are at their lowest point, arguably, okay, that head's going to start to release. Okay, club head's going to start to come down this way, and it's all happening a bit too early. So at this point, I'd expect to see the hands a little bit closer to your right thigh. Okay, so then when you do release it, the club is still moving a bit more outward, and the face is actually going to be a bit more open. Okay. And then, so now the right arm's going to start to throw. Club just lines up a little early. Hands are, hands are back of probably where I'd want to see them at this point, relative to kind of to the left side.
Sure.
Okay. So shaft's lining up a bit early. Face is moving left. Okay. And then it's out. So the heel strike, by the way, is all linked to this, because the more this right arm starts to move into internal rotation, it starts to also move the club away from the golf ball.
Makes sense.
Yeah, as I do that, you can see how my arm just starts to move out, right? So that's why you'll get the heel strikes every now and again. So all linked. This throw's just happening basically too early. And for me, I think it's because this right arm overbends at the top.
Sure.
Okay. So then when you're coming down, it's too high, and then it has to throw. Okay. You do a good job with the. That's why you'll see a little bit of like a. Also here, you'll see a little bit of a drop in the head here. And the lower body, sorry, the right shoulder, and that's an attempt again because the club's quite high. It's an attempt to get the.
Bring it back down.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So perfect. So we'll run through that again with some demonstrations and things like that, right? And then I'll show you kind of some things and give you some drills and ideas to work on, and some checkpoints obviously for you when you're in your sessions, right? Okay, mate. So right arm. Okay. So like I said, setup wise, I'm pretty happy. I actually think the way you've got it rotated at address is good. Okay. But I'm just going to run through now what I was talking about on the analysis, right? So what we'll see when you go to the top is this right arm would basically overfold. Okay. So there's too much going on with these limbs. All right. So from address up to the top, right arm overfolds. Now, as you start to come down, what we're looking for in the golf swing is the hands would start to move away from the right shoulder as we start to come down. Okay, so they've travelled the furthest, the arms. We've then got to get them to start to travel down again. All right, but what we see from you, because the right arm is overfolded, as you start your downswing, A, it doesn't straighten quick enough, but B, it stays up here.
Right.
Okay, so it's really high at this point. There's too much bend going on. So now what you're going to have to do, obviously, there's going to have to be we see a little bit of a tilt, but there's now going to have to be a lot of throw to get the club down, right? And you can see here, that club just starts to line up too early, all right? So the shoulder starts to move into internal rotation too quickly, okay? This way, face, as you do that, the face starts to move to the left, as we can kind of see there,
Yep.
all right? And also, as I do that, that can start to get the heel out towards the golf ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the things you're seeing
Yeah.
are all coming from actually the same thing,
Okay.
all right? But you're going to get slight different variances in your ball flight if you're hitting the heel or versus hitting the middle.
Yep.
Okay, and then obviously when you just kind of time it right and well enough, you can manage it. Okay,
Yes.
but what we need to do is start to get rid of that left start direction.
Okay.
Okay, so the feeling we're gonna go with, okay, is, like I said, we don't want to fix the top here, right? I think it's much easier to fix something when it's moving its slowest, right, than it is when it's moving its quickest.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to go to the top and we're going to create the idea of that once we've got ourselves set, right, so this nice beautiful arm structure, the triangle we've created here, ultimately you're trying to maintain that as you turn and pivot to the top. Okay, so yes, the right arm does start to fold, okay, but we're going to try and reduce how much it folds. So for you, there's going to be an element of a feeling here of like it doesn't fold at all.
Okay.
Right, to keep it, I wouldn't want that folding any more than 90 degrees, right?
Yep.
So let's just say again, you kind of fold it to 30, yeah? You need to feel straight
Okay.
to net out to somewhere in around 80 to 90,
Yep.
okay? So there's the kind of, you're gonna hear the feel versus real stuff, right, and things like that. I think it's just understanding that if you're trying to make a change, it probably needs to feel a little bit more exaggerated than what actually it needs to make it stick. But on that, always make sure you've got some references and boundaries to that, right? So, for example, if you're kind of forever swinging, trying to straighten your right arm, you can get to a point where you straighten it so much from here that all of a sudden it becomes disconnected and you start moving. So there always has to be some boundaries to all this stuff. But right now, and this is the best way I like to think about this, is once you've got yourself set up, you're simply just trying to transport that structure to the top.
Yeah.
So we're not doing too much with wrists, forearms, elbow bends.
Yeah.
Okay. And something I see from a lot of golfers that this structure they create here all of a sudden breaks real quick.
Yeah.
Or certainly does too much in and around the top. And that'll be a bias of mine in terms of really like to see what you've got here. Guys just transport that much better around to the top. So there's a lot less going on,
Yes.
right? We've just got some fraction of bend in this right arm. We've got the wrists are now set lovely because we've not done too much to them, and we haven't got any active forearms.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the feel we're going to go with, and I'm going to give you. Obviously, I'll get you into position in a second, but here, transport what you've got at address around to the top. So we're going to keep a much stronger structure. You will feel like this right arm is trying to push against the club a little bit and straighten him.
Yeah.
Okay, and then downswing. We're going to have to put a little bit of downswing to this. We're going to get the idea for you that on the way down, again, as I said, the hands are starting to move away from the right shoulder, okay?
Okay.
So your feel is going to be that you're trying to get your hands almost like the lowest you can get them in the downswing here.
Sure.
So you can see how this right arm starts to straighten. I'm getting them further away from the shoulder, so they're unloading, okay? And then we'll obviously have to put some slight references to this as well, making sure that basically what I'd want to see is the armpit of the elbow pointing out still at this point and not here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, because that would be the early kind of throw, and that's when that starts to move to the left. Okay, so by lowering and feeling that this stays more out there, that's going to delay the throw, so then you can see the face is still moving out more out, or everything is a direction moving out to the right. Correct. The face isn't now doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because what's actually going on here, and this is an important one for everyone to know as well actually, is that this movement is shutting the face to the target. It's not shutting the face to the path, this movement here. What shuts the face to the path is this twisting motion. Okay, so twisting the face like this, you can see it now shuts relative to where the shaft is pointing. So if I held an alignment stick up like this, and I twisted the club face, that's now shut to the direction the shaft is pointing, okay? Whereas if I do what Josh does in his release here, and line these two things up, okay, so the face and the path are lined up, but I'm now just gonna over-rotate the club head relative to the handle. You can see the face doesn't actually change relative to the shaft direction, but it moves everything to the left. So this is what we're seeing with Josh's data. Face-to-path relationship is actually good, but everything's just moving to the left, a bit too early into that impact area, hence why the golf ball starting left and then has a tendency of curving to the left. So as we're coming in, we're going to start to change some of that, so then it moves a little bit more out to the on target for longer. It's not moving further out to the right, it's just moving out to the right for longer, and that's where we'll be able to get that start direction a bit more to the right for him, rather than this. We can see that starting to move a little bit more to the left. But again, the face-to-path relationship isn't changing, it's just the fact that the system or the structure has been moved to the left a little bit too early, whereas we've got to just move this out towards the golf ball for longer, which is getting this arm structure lower, better, and moving that way. So again, we're not moving it out there more, we're just moving it out towards the golf ball for longer, so delaying the throw.
Yeah.
All right. Right, let's run through some feelings, some drills.
Sure.
Give you some references. Yeah, let's do it. You take that. What club's that there, buddy?
That's a 9.
9-9. Okay. So if you set yourself up. Right, so, like I said, one of the key things I want to focus on here is what you've got built here at address, okay? We are going to transport to the top, okay? So as you start to turn, this lovely triangle you've got built,
yep.
All right, you are going to move that to top. So just turn to the backswing for me and try and keep that structure. Good. Yeah, lovely. So all of a sudden, instinctively, you start to create much better width here at this right arm, okay? And just feel like that right arm is pushing a little bit. There we go, good. Okay?
Yep.
Feel a difference?
Yes.
Now, what we'd see from you at the top would be that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, so this arm feels straight, but this arm's
loose, right? You've lost all that tension on the extension of that club, right? Good. So, and again. So if you come down at address, good. Good. So it's going to be a little wrist, that's it, a little wrist set, right? And this arm is going to fold somewhat. Good, but we're just trying to keep the width of that, okay? So we don't want it to overfold for you. So we're feeling like the arms are pushing away from the body a bit more.
Yep.
Whilst still keeping some connection, yeah, good.
Okay.
And again.
Yeah, it's that.
Good. Yeah, that's fine there. Good. So again, we're just trying to separate the feeling here of that the wrists can still, that right wrist can load back still, good, right. But the arms trying to overfold the elbow, okay, good. So just feel wide, there you go, perfect. So it's going to feel much, to you I think the word might be like wider, but you put your own, I can't teach you what this feels like.
No.
Right? I can tell you what you need to do.
Yes.
I can't teach you what it feels like. You've got to start to create your own feelings around it.
Yeah, definitely feeling it in the top of the shoulder here.
Okay, fine. So whatever you're feeling that's going on, okay, you create that, right? And whenever you guys are ever working on anything, by the way, as a coach or any coaches, we can't teach you what to feel, right? That's so personal to you. However, what we do from an instructional point of view, right, the club needs to be here, do this, do that. Player then needs to create his or her own feels around that, so they have their own references to go back to in their own language, whatever you're going to start to say in your own head about doing this, you've got some feedback. I then give you the technical feedback, whether it's right or wrong. You then know whether that what is your feeling is correct. Okay. So I can't teach you what to feel, right? So, and again, a few more of these rehearsals. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to put the second feel into this now. Okay. So talks about there now trying to get you the idea of lowering the arms the most on the way down, or the hands the most. Okay. And then holding this structure just so you've got what that feels like. And then we're going to start to put it into a drill. Okay. So up to the top now with a bit more width in the arms. Good. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come down and we're going to try and lower the hands the most. Good. Okay. Good. So they get in front of the right thigh. Fantastic. Good. There we go. And the armpit, the elbow is pointing out towards in front of you, right, towards the ball. Perfect. So this is now delaying. Yeah, like I said, right, it's moving the club head out towards the golf ball for a fraction longer. Okay. So the club face now is always going to be a slightly right of your target. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. Whereas when you were before, by the time you got to that point, this was doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's moving left now, earlier. Okay, and then obviously, like, because the way the shoulder's moving doing this, it's throwing the heel out as well. Yeah, good. All right, so that's pretty much what we saw on the camera. Perfect. There we go.
That. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure.
So it's happening later. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
And again. So up to the top. Good. Slowly start to come down. So you're going to lower the hands the most. Just get them to the right thigh. That's fine. Just get them to the right thigh. That's it. There. Perfect. And again. I like that little shift, mate. That's nice. Right, slowly. So you can feel like the hands and arms are lowering the most. Good. Good. And just try and keep the shaft parallel to the ground. Okay. So this is going to be your checkpoint. Shaft parallel to the ground. Okay. Hands opposite your right thigh. Because you don't want to go too much. Just need to do enough of it. Good. That's better. Good. Good. Yeah, nice. Now that club's moving out towards the ball.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, the parallel to.
Again, come to the top. Just feel a little bit less shift for me. You're going to feel a little bit of shift, but I want you to just focus a bit more on the hands and arms coming down for me to get these back in sync. Good. 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 Yeah, feel the difference?
Massively.
And again, a little bit less with the shift here, but more hands and arms. Just bring hands and arms down now for me. That's better. There you go. Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna get some shift.
Yeah.
Right, but obviously what we don't want to do too much of, right, is we see obviously that hands and arms left behind.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of a sequence. So
It's
just want you to feel in this drill that wider.
Yeah.
You're naturally going to start to shift because we're going to start to move pressure towards target, right?
Yes.
Now in your actual golf swing, you're going to sequence that.
Yeah.
But what I want you to feel here is that it's more just the hands and arms coming down, and then so you
Yeah.
can see instinct as I'm doing that, I am moving forwards. Just
Yeah.
don't want to see you do too much of
Yeah, it just feels the club.
because then you're causing the same
miles
problem.
out that way, so
Yeah,
I
you're
think it's
causing the same
instinct to kind
problem,
of
right?
be like.
Good. So and again. So transport what you've got. A little bit. Yeah, well done, well done. Just start that again. Start that again. Transport what you've got. Nice. Slowly down. Less of a shift. Focus more just on the arms. So don't shift the lower body. Right, bring the hands and arms down. Lower them, lower them, lower them. Good. Good. Good.
Still up there, okay.
That's it. Good. And again. Yeah, fantastic. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Got that feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Right, so what we're going to do now, let me just go for a little drill, okay? Just going to show you a drill, what we're going to do. Now, I always like to start, or with every player, a drill that is like what I'd call like a chip. So it goes 80 to 100 yards with something like an 8 iron, 9 iron or 7 iron, okay, and around that mid kind of iron bag. I much prefer to get players to do shorter golf swings with some sort of intent than I do slow motion golf swings. I feel these translate so much better to the golf course. It's actually quite a nice shot as well if you're struggling with your game and you've got this little kind of chippy half to 3/4 drill. It's a really good one to go to when you like your strike just sucks that day. It's something you can do just to get the golf ball round because we can play golf with the golf ball being in the air and slightly left and slightly right of target. We cannot play golf with the thing on the ground. So if you're struggling out on the golf course, I think every golfer needs something to go to, and that's why I really like this, because it's a shortened down version of your full swing. It still has some intent to it, okay? So we can still produce a good enough distance on the ball to play, right? Because ultimately, if you're having those days, all your job is at that point is just get the ball round the course, right? It doesn't need to be pretty. But if you're trying to fix everything at full swing and it's all going and your low points off and strikes off, it's just really hard to play golf and not fun, right? So we're going to start with I'd call like a chip drill, okay? Now, first focus is obviously set up same. First focus is we're going to swing, going to make some swings to sort of like lead arm level to the ground on the way back, right? Your first focus is going to be making sure you're transporting what you've got, maintaining this width, okay? Make sense?
Yep.
All right. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to hit some, again, like chippy pitch shots. You go from here, you're just going to turn through and you're going to get yourself into a finish position where your right arm is then level the other side, okay? And what we're just going to check in on is very similar to what we actually did with your pitching in terms of release. There's going to be a little bit of a link here in what I want to check in on is the finish position, making sure the club head has stayed somewhat outside of the handle line.
Okay.
Okay, so if it's lining up too early, you're going to see it more like this at this point. Okay, so the arm is thrown too much, which is throwing everything a little bit too leftward. Okay, and you're going to see a bit of this. So the idea in the action of finishing more here is going to get you more in this shape at the ball. The armpit of the elbow is going to be a bit more out in front as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, if you throw it here, you're going to see a bit of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to hit some shots. Like I said, set up, transport what you've got to left arm parallel. Okay. And then basically transport the same what you've got here on the way through to right arm parallel. Okay. And you're just going to hit some shots just like that. Okay. And we're just going to start to hopefully get everything starting fractionally right of your target. It would either push or it will draw. Okay. Hopefully nothing starts left. If it's starting left, we know obviously
Still doing that.
change something. Yeah. So here, set yourself up, left arm parallel, and just chip them out to there. Okay. So right arm's level to the ground. You see the club head is outside of the handle. If I bring this back to impact, elbow, armpit still out there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what this thing's called. I just call it the armpit of the elbow.
Yeah.
No
Makes
other way.
sense.
Yeah. I have no idea what it's called. Right. Do a few rehearsals out of golf ball for me, buddy. Good. So transport up to a bit wider. Good. Well done. Do that again. Good. Slow. All right. So up to there. Just nice and easy. Good. Slowly come through. Get into that finish position. Good.
There, okay.
Good. Yep. And again. Yeah. Nice. Again, so create your own feelings around this when you're doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
What it feels like. Does it, is there some element of you having to feel like the arms are accelerating a bit quicker from the top to get there? Whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. Good.
Yeah.
That's fine there. Good.
For me, it's just really just.
Hey.
For me, it's just really just reaching out there to kind of get that.
Yeah, like it. Good.
It's gonna be chunky.
Yeah, and again. Fantastic. Just go to the finish position and stop for me. Good. Just make sure that face isn't wide open, right? So there we go. Matching the shaft.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, because of that. So that would be, and it'd be interesting when we hit balls in a minute, we'll be able to go back to these points. So I would expect that to be a straight push.
Sure.
Okay, so it won't turn back to target. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd expect that
Yeah.
to be something that has drawn.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd expect this
To be the.
to be something that started left and gone
Yeah.
left. Okay, so you can use these checkpoints really
Yeah.
clearly based on what the ball's doing.
Okay.
All right, if you're pushing it, face is
Over that.
ultimately going to be too open.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a good shot, you probably finish somewhere more like this, where the face and the shaft matches up. Okay,
Yep.
and if you've good.
Around
if you've
there.
pull drawn it,
Yeah.
it's more that way.
Going left.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Might come around this. I'm going to get the camera to come around this side. Actually, I'm just going to you get into that finish position. I'm going to just show that relative to an alignment stick. Good. So we're going to go through the push shot first, and you'll see relative to that. Oh, let me get that stick in place. Sorry, just move your hand a little bit. Thanks, mate. There. Good. That face, relative to that line, is wide open. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Okay. So there's a big gap here. Face is wide open. I expect that to push.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm now just going to twist it back into somewhat square. Good. Now the leading edge is matching or even a hair shut to it.
Yes.
Right, which I'd expect then it to draw.
Yep.
Okay. Now the miss you were getting is this correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything's moved that way and the face
Yeah.
is shut to it, right? So now we can see the leading edge is shut to the
Yep.
shaft, and they would be the pull
Yeah.
draws I would expect to see.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So using this system here, you can get a clear understanding of what you're doing in practice if you're seeing certain flights. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And that comes back to what I said earlier about the twisting motion. There we go.
Yeah.
That's your face to path stuff.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
keeping it neutral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. You go back. Right, mate. Let's hit some little chips. First few, you're going to be figuring a few things out, right? So I'm not really fussed about what goes on here. It's just kind of like the first 5 minutes of figuring this stuff out.
All that.
Exactly. Just take some intent out of it to start with. Like I said, you got 9-9 there, haven't you?
Yeah.
50, 60 yard, 70 yard 9-9s, that's it. Better.
Yeah.
There you go. Right start line, trying to draw, yeah? Didn't
Yeah.
overturn the target. Good. Nice. Same again. Right
Yep.
start line, drawing,
Trying
didn't
to draw it.
overturn. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
that
that
one,
one.
hold the finish. Yeah, right. So,
Massively left.
yeah, you can see the face, right?
Yeah.
Face is gone. Where,
Yeah.
the ball, where did the ball start?
Left. Went left.
You also hit it slightly heavy,
Yes.
so we can probably link that back to, well, it's definitely lined up too early, right?
Okay. Yep.
Heavy strike, and it's gone that way because we
Yeah.
can see that through the finish. Nice.
Oh. Just trying to think about dropping those hands.
So I would say focus on that finish position.
Okay.
Okay, so width there, finish position. I think if you get the finish position, I think you've done a lot of really good stuff.
Sure.
Little heavy, but
Yeah.
had the right flight shape on it. Just gonna give it more lean.
Okay.
That's it, yes, a bit more. That's
Sure.
it, perfect. Tiny bit more weight forward and tiny bit more shaft lean, good. Better strike, there we go.
Yep.
But everything has started right and not overturned target yet, has it? Or we've
No.
had one that started left, but we had a real clear
Yeah.
idea of why, right? Which is the big thing. Okay, I'm just going to get a video of you doing this, and I'm just going to check in on it, just to see what's going on. Bit more shaft lean, dude. Good. Nice.
Started right.
Yeah, better. Nice. Just gonna give a little exaggeration onto where these hands are getting into.
Okay.
Okay. Just while we're doing this chip drill, I think we can.
Sure.
Up to the top. Right, slowly come down. Hands and arms down. Good. So they're going to feel like they're pushing down, like a little bit lower towards the ground.
Okay.
Okay. The shaft has then maintained its height. Does that make sense? Yeah. More they're kind of up here like this.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start to do this. Correct. Good. So I'm just pushing this to a bit of an extreme. Okay. And again. So that again for me. So you're going to feel more like downward. That's better. That's
yeah.
better. Yeah. Feel the difference.
Massively.
That's going to start to help you then get much more like, you're going to start to get the pressure more left as well, easier.
Yeah.
Okay, anything that's more up, you're typically going to be more right. Good, that's it. Yeah, nice.
Okay.
That was a better strike.
Yeah, definitely.
couple of little rehearsals before this one, mate. Just kind of exaggerate it. So transport what you've got. Slowly come down. I feel like he's down more. Yeah, well done. Well done.
Okay.
Pushing the hands down more. Keeping the shaft up though. That's it. There we go. Good. Okay. A little heavy?
Yeah, very.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. Okay, a few more like this, and then we're going to start to build on it a little bit. More sharply in at address. There we go. Good. Okay, so straight push. So
Yes.
face is probably a fraction open there at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah, which it was. But again, it's, like I say, it's not a problem hitting all the shots. It's tuning into what's going on, right? So,
Yeah.
and this would be another point that I would want to stress to everyone is that when we're practicing, being able to have this sort of feedback and system is so important because me included, I did this and every golfer does, you know, practice and like hitting shots and there's no consequence to anything, right? There's no real feedback loop of what's going on, how's that shot being caused. So then I get the questions all the time of, well, I'm great on the range and I'm crap on the golf course. Well, I'd always argue, well, are you? Like, are you actually that good on the range? Because like, if you don't know what's causing the ball flights, right? And you haven't got a system to then kind of go back to, and there's no consequence. Like, it's so easy to forget a bad shot on a range, right? And then you go out in the golf course, hit a bad shot, and it's the end of the world because it now means something.
Yeah.
Okay. So having this really helps then understand, well, actually, am I doing a good job on the range? Is that what I'm looking for? Is it not? The other one as well, especially everyone in the UK, this time of year, we unfortunately have to practice on mats, right? Most places we hit golf balls in the UK are on mats. We unfortunately haven't got the luxury of being able to hit off turf 24/7. So I often get that one, well, mats are too forgiving. Well, yes, they're more forgiving than turf, but again, be more present in your practice sessions and be aware of, well, like, you can tell instantly if you've hit one heavy here,
Yeah,
right?
it sounds different.
Right, and I can hear it. We know instantly whether it's been hit heavy, whether it's flushed, whether it's not. Again, the ball flight might look a bit more flattering on the heavy shots, but just be tuned in, focus on what's going on. You'll know if you're hitting it heavy or not, you really will. And then you can be, have an idea of, okay, well, actually I've hit 7 out of 10 shots here that are heavy. The ball might have gone okay, but they're still heavy. So you're going to see that in a larger scale then on the golf course. So I just wanted to bring up there because it links to yourself as well as when you're practicing. Just be tuned into the strike, what's going on, where the ball's going. You've got the system there, but also we have to have a strike feedback loop as well. Like a bit heavy, what causes that? Yeah.
Other right.
Okay, so is that a push? Yeah. And actually just say the face is a hair open there, mate.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Straight away coming back, right?
Yep, felt better as well.
Straight away. Okay, one more like that. Yeah, fantastic. So again, that little tweak all of a sudden,
Yeah, definitely.
you can fix it once you start to know what causes what. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so how we now essentially graduate from that, okay, is what I then like to get golfers to do next is we're going to go on the same idea, we're just going to add a bit more intent. Okay, so we're going to try and do the same stuff, you're still trying to maintain your width, still trying to get into that finish position, we're just adding speed on that slightly shorter motion,
Okay.
rather than all of a sudden now trying to lengthen it out as much as we can. I would want to see golfers be able to control the speed at shorter lengths first, and then you can start to build on it.
Yep.
Now, when you go and play golf, obviously you just go and play golf, right? You're not
Yeah.
trying to think about stopping short and things like that. But I really like golfers practicing on shorter scales with bigger intent. Learn to control the club and the speed of the club through the hitting area, okay, to manage these things, to improve your strike and your start lines. And then you can lengthen it out last.
Yep.
All right. But obviously, yeah, like I said, golf course, you just play golf. Okay. So let's add some intent. And he said lengthen out then. Add some intent. So arm structure nice and solid to the top. Good, really good.
Yeah.
A little bit straight with that right arm. Do that again for me. Do that again. Good,
Into there.
good. Okay. Push shot to the right. Wasn't cutting right though. So no face was just a hair open. A bit more there.
Okay.
There we
Yeah,
go.
a bit more. Okay.
Yeah,
that's-
it's just I think you get a hair open.
Sure.
It's a little bit too much, buddy. Good. Bit more lean with that shaft. There we go. Nice. Good. Slightly bottom groove, but
Yeah.
better start line, better curve, right?
Definitely.
Good. Nice, mate. Really like that. Really like that.
Slightly slower swing speed, that one. So,
Yeah, you just start to figure out a speed that you can manage.
bit of a better tempo.
Good. Slightly heavy, slightly overturned target.
Yeah.
So I'd say that would be linked to the same thing. Club lining up a little early, face just going a touch. Nice.
Yep.
Just hanging on to target line.
Yeah.
That's more than acceptable though. Nice, mate.
That's the best
Really
one.
nice. Really nice. Right, let's just go through that rehearsal. So up the top, transport it around. Lovely, mate. Well done. Really good. And then start to move the hands and arms away from. Good. Do that again. A little bit less shift though. Just up to the top. Right. So you're going to start to move the hands or the structure away from your right shoulder. Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So they're going to come away from this. That's fine. And again. Move the hands and arms. Perfect. Well done. Perfect. Good. Yeah, so they're moving away from, almost like in a diagonal line, right, from where they are, back down into the golf ball. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And again, up to the top. So from there, you're going to move them down and out towards the golf ball. Perfect.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Okay. Almost like my right shoulder doesn't move.
No, you're moving your, yeah, correct. You're moving your hand. Obviously it does start to
move.
Tilt and turn, but you're moving your arms. The feeling for you is moving the arms away from the right shoulder. And obviously I've put emphasis on that. We are still going to be shifting.
Yes.
Okay, we're still going to be turning, we're still going to be tilting, all these things, but it's just the feeling for you that from here, hands and arms got to come away from the right shoulder, maintaining that lovely structure.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't, obviously I said that the shift's fine, but we just I don't want you to start to shift and not pull the hands and arms away. Okay, it's got to all happen at the same time. Nice. Okay, just going to check in on that now from the camera. Sounded nice.
Did sound nice. Felt nice.
Yep. Nice. Really good. Nothing's overturning target now, is it, dude?
No. Taking the left side out. Oh, thin.
Okay, one more. And I'm going to give you one more exaggerated drill. That was nice. That was really nice.
Yeah, it's focusing on that bit.
Yeah. Okay. Just going to give you a bit of an exaggerated drill, okay? So this would be something you're definitely going to have to practice at slower speeds.
Yeah.
This can be done with or without golf balls, but I'm going to basically push everything to a limit. Okay. So now I'm going to stress this for yourself and for viewers that obviously throughout the golf swing, especially coming to impact, these angles are releasing. They're releasing hard and fast.
Yeah.
Okay. We're never trying to slow them down or stop them from doing that. It's this huge, obviously, speed gains, especially as the pivot starts to work. The club's going to start to whip out in front, right? But with anyone that obviously unloads the angles too early, we've got to feel at some point that these are holding on for much longer, or if anything, not releasing at all, okay? Because they're going to get to a point where they are going to 100%, all right? But we've just got to get you holding this for a lot longer, shifting for a lot longer to feel the exaggeration, okay? So I'm actually going to get you to hit some no-release golf shots. Okay? So you're going to hit some shots where, from setup, we're just going to work back a little bit shorter, okay? Left arm parallel at worst, okay, in terms of length. And you're going to come through and you're not going to release your angles at all. Okay, so we're going to use the pivot to turn through the shot, all right? I'm going to try and hold the most amount of shaft lean, okay?
Yeah.
And the most amount of wrist set.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to be like this. So you will not be able to swing much faster than this, by the way, because otherwise it's all going to start to come out. Again, teaching you to manage the speed, right? Or manage the club, manage the forces of the club first, before then adding length and speed.
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to do it like this. I don't even know if I can do this properly. All right, you're just going to, little swings. Use the pivot to turn the club around, but really exaggerating this. So it's a no release golf swing, okay?
Yeah.
It's going to feel super exaggerated, but there's a whole point, okay? And you practice this in doses, all right? Set yourself up. I'm just here, pivot, no release.
Yeah.
So you can see if I bring that back to impact, I've got the most amount of shaft lean, the most amount of right wrist back, the most amount my elbow is pointing out towards camera, okay? Any amount of change in these, start to see that.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna hit some little, and again, you're probably gonna have to treat it as like a greenside chip shot for now,
Okay.
speed
Yeah,
wise,
yeah.
okay? So it's just gonna be like, no release. Okay?
Give it a go.
Give it a whirl. It's not easy, this one, by the way. Just do a few practice swings for me.
So it's kind of no release.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Good. And again. So it will feel like I said, your body's probably going to have to do most of the delivery work. Good. Because obviously you're not using any of the, that's it. Perfect. So again, sort of face and shaft matched up, okay? So that's then square at impact, you see? That
Yeah.
is not good.
Yeah. Okay,
Good.
there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. Just chip a couple, dude. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get on camera to show you this. All right. Now, also I know it's only a chip and I know it's a short swing, but I'm starting to get the idea. Nice. Yeah, right. Just quickly show you this. So again, I know this is super exaggerated, right? And it's obviously a chip shot at slower speed. It's not quite representative of full swing, but this is what you've got to start to feel through the golf ball to allow the hands and arms to come back into play. Okay. For you then to line up that golf ball, right? So that hits all your checkpoints there in terms of the elbows out at the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got your shaft lean, face is stable, left wrist is really stable, hands are further forward. And then you can see that face angle is really solid through the golf
definitely.
ball. And again, I'm going to stress this because you will get the people that say it's not a full shot. I know that. But what we're doing here is giving an idea and a feeling of what that feels like at slower speeds first, shorter swings first, and then you can start to build length and speed on top of that once that starts to feel more and more comfortable.
Yeah.
But you've got to have somewhere to start to understand how exaggerated that actually had to feel for you.
Massively.
Correct, right? Rather than this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is going to be a really good piece of work for you, whether it's at home or whether it's to start your sessions. Very much starting here, chipping them out and trying to get those sort of ball flights, and then starting to build on that. Now, straight away, the work we did in the first drill obviously started that golf ball wasn't turning left, right? It wasn't starting left. We started to secure that, but this would be where you'd start to work your blueprint towards getting more of that.
Yes.
That there impact is pure.
Yeah.
All right. And at the end we'll lay that side by side so you can see it on the other one. But that's really good, bud.
Like that.
Okay, we're just gonna do a couple of those. Okay, a few of those. Good.
Let's try and go slower.
Nice, dude. Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Just a couple more of that sort of speed, and then we'll finish on a couple of fuller shots just to put some of that in. Good.
chunky.
Okay, these last two, we're going to go back to the same sort of intent we were doing in the first drill, but adding a little bit more of this in. Make sense?
Yep.
Nice, mate. Yeah, really good. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Again, so the last two shots, start right, didn't overturn.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right, I'm just going to show you, I'll show you this just to finish up on here so you can see what's going on. Let me just... So what I'm going to show you here, and I'm just going to show you the comparison between your drill and then the first swing, right? So like I said, understand that it's a shorter swing, slower, but it gives us an idea of where we're trying to get to, and so you can see the difference. So just going to bring, what I'm going to bring back is impact to the two. There we go, so we got much better impact alignments there.
Yeah, loads better.
Of those two, right? So you've got more shaft lean, you can see that. Arm structure is so different. The right arm, we can see that the lower half of your right arm in this top video of how much that has it's sort of thrown already.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the elbow's outside of it. Yeah, elbow's outside of the arm. Better left wrist structure, so much flatter left wrist there, rather it's not starting to work into extension or cupping too soon. Okay, again, that's going to indicate how we're going to be supporting that club face. So that chip drill I really like.
Yeah.
Or the no release drill, let's call it.
Yeah, no
right?
release one's probably.
No release drill I really like. I think that's going to start to get your shape closer and closer.
Yeah.
And actually, even on that last swing I just recorded there, this was you doing that drill with a bit more intent. Even straight away started to line up a bit better.
Yes.
So much better function of the left wrist. It's much flatter.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, a little bit sharply. And yeah, and they're starting to get a bit further ahead. But then more importantly, we can still see how much more stable that face is.
Yeah.
Through that area there, for sure.
Okay.
So that's really good. That had a really positive impact straight away. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's definitely shifted the shape of it, isn't it?
Prefer that one down the bottom.
Yeah. So even then, like I said, with more intent, it's got that much closer.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really happy with that as a start. That look there, you can just see from that bottom video, or bottom image, that golf ball's definitely starting further right than the one on the left, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. See how much the face has gone in already on the left.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice, mate.
Okay.
Okay. Does that all make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. It's really, really good stuff. So just a little recap there then on that. Big thing for you is going to be the start line and the curve, right? Making sure everything starts to the right and either pushes or it starts to curve back, okay? And you've got a nice clear system there in your follow through to understand what the face has done relative to the shaft angle, to understand if you're getting some ones that are too straight and then to curve in versus ones that are starting right and staying to the right. So again, tune in to your practice and make sure you're kind of understanding what those ball flights are doing, and plenty of those drills when you're at the range, and I'll send you a clear practice plan when you're at the range, how you incorporate that, what you're looking for, how much time you spend on each drill, things like that, right? So you've got some guidelines.
With intent.
Yeah, correct. I'll lay that out for you. So again, that sort of practice structure, and this is something I'd advise to everyone when you're practicing. Start with a chip, whether it be a deliberate drill like we did there at the end with Josh, something slower, shorter, and then build intent on that same length, and then you can start to build length out last. Learn to control the speed and the forces of the club at a little bit of a shorter motion, and then you can lengthen out last. If you can do that, you're going to start to control your strike, you're going to start to control your start line, your curve, so much better, and you're going to get less things going on at the bottom and causing all the or the missed strikes. And as I alluded to, actually, it's a really good shot to hit when you're on the course if you're struggling with strike.
Yes.
Okay. Brilliant, mate.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I hope that's cleared up a few things for you. Yeah, exactly. Some of those things are questions. And again, I'll just reiterate that, like, the journey I'm trying to show all you guys is the fact that it's going to be some great moments, some crap moments, like we had there. Like, you've gone from assessment that was flying, you couldn't do anything wrong, to then playing one of your worst rounds of golf in a long time. Yeah, that's still part of it. Like, but what we do here, and what I do is be able to give you guys the access and the freedom to be able to send me stuff. Right, let's get on top of it. Clear systems, structures to, well, if you're seeing this, that's what's going on. Making sure you're not left to your own devices in between practice, right, which I think is so important. So thanks again, mate.
Cool, thank you.
Some really, really good stuff there. Guys, thanks for watching. If there's anything there that resonates, or if you've got any questions you want to ask me, please feel free to drop a comment below. Please like the video, and there'll be more episodes coming up with Josh and getting in his journey down to 15. And as always, guys, really would appreciate the subscribe. So hit the button. It helps me create more content to help you guys play better golf.